So in a bucket of water, add some very little bit of fabric moisturizer, and then take your piece and soak it up nicely. So leave it soaking for at least half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour, right? So that it absorbs all the water, it's nicely soaked up, and then I'll show you the next step. So now that we've soaked it for half an hour, what we're going to do is we're just going to take the piece and gently squeeze out all the water. I can't do this with one hand, but yeah, with both hands, just gently squeeze out the water, right, from all sides. Do not wring the project to remove the water. Even if it's dripping water a little bit, it's okay. Just make sure that you squeeze properly with both hands and remove as much water as possible. So I'm going to do that again and I'll show you the next step. So next step, just take a dry towel, right, and take your piece and just put it on the dry towel and roll it. Just roll it all the way till the end. There you go. Now that you've rolled it, you can just press it with your hand like that. You can put some weights on it if you want, or what I like to do best is just stamp on it. Stamp on it so that all the water is soaked, remaining water is soaked up with by the towel, and your piece is good enough. So there you go, just stamp on it. I mean, you can put everything else for wash later on, so but just go ahead, stamp on it, and once you remove the whole thing, your piece doesn't have any more dripping water. It's wet, but it does not have any dripping water. So let's go onto the blocking mat. So for the blocking mat, I have proper blocking mats, but if you don't have these at home, don't worry, you can use a yoga mat. Or what I used to do earlier was take the same dry wet towel that you have and put it on a spare bed, and what you can do is just take your piece and start pinning it on the towel into the mattress, right? So you can just do that. You can take your piece and pin it up onto the bed, put it under the fan, and let it dry properly. So but I'll show you the pinning process on the blocking mat, but you can do the same thing on a towel, on a mattress, so it should not matter. Anything that you can pin it down to, it should work, right? So now we're on the blocking mat and I'll show you how we're going to pin. But before that, I'll show you what any kind of pin that you have at home will work. So I have these, which are your embroidery pins, like your sewing pins. They work. You can just use them, or you can use these, which are your softboard pins. You can get this at any stationery store. Okay. Or what I also have are the proper blocking T-pins from Knit Pro. So these are the T-pins. So you can use any of these. There is no, no rule that only one thing can be used. You can use any of them. You can get it anywhere in your local shops, and we'll get to actually pinning the piece. So now, as you can see, I have stretched and pinned down all the corners or the points. So it's somewhat a good rectangle. So it should be somewhere close to 2 feet by 3 feet. Not necessarily it has to meet that dimensions, but both the options, that is go bulky and go high bulky, it should be somewhere. It might be a little short on the 3 feet part, so it will be lesser than 3 feet, but width wise it should be somewhere around 2 feet. So because these blocking mats are 1 feet each. So there you go, there you've stretched. And so if you see the process of while I was pinning it down, I have pinned some points and then stretched again and removed those pins, stretched it again, pinned it down again, right? So you can do that trial error and pin it down. It does not necessarily have to be like an exact cut to cut rectangle, but it should not be a rhombus, right? So it can be any sort of a rectangle that you can stretch and put. Now you can also see that because we've stretched, all the mesh work and the jolly work that we did is like all opened up nicely, and you can see the stitches very well, right? So there you go, that's your blocking done. Now leave it to dry, either overnight or over 2 days, depending on whether it's raining, not raining. So, and it should be done. So next week when we meet up, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish the bag and actually make the profile of the bag with this rectangle. And hopefully by that time everything should have been dried, blocked. You would have got some time to catch up on the cal, and I will see you next week. So till then, if you have any queries, do get in touch with us at India Yarn Circle or with me at String Diary, and I'll be able to help you out with any queries that you have. Till then, bye bye. See you next week.